Huge changes coming to Diablo 4. Let's see if they are good or they're extremely sad and pathetic. It's a coin flip.
Blizzard just showcased all of the new Diablo 4 content coming with the expansion. We got gameplay of the new raids, which is like the Dark Citadel. We have the new seasonal mechanic has been announced, showcase, and we got gameplay of that as well. We also have a new mechanic, Kurast Undercity, which is explained with like tributes, allow you to target rewards, etc. So let's break it all down.
Target rewards? What's the point of that? The only thing in this game that you want to farm are mega uniques, ultra uniques, super rares, or whatever you call them. You know, the Shakos, the Ethereals, Mites, and all of that. That's the only thing you want to target farm. What do you mean target farming?
First bit of a reminder, here's the times for the launches. It's October 7th if you are on the western side. So we're talking
1 a.m., eh? So, yeah, I don't even... Oh, it's October 8th. Oh, that's pretty close. I completely forgot.
p.m. Pacific, October 7th for the launch of the game. The new seasonal mechanic is called the Realmwalker, which is basically the...
Which is literally a copy-paste mechanic from Diablo 3, because seemingly everything they add to Diablo 4 is from Diablo 3. And that's not a joke.
This Portal, they could summon a giant dude starts walking around. He pops out of the ground. Here's the big boy. He's going to summon minions as you follow him around. He's invulnerable for a while. Then you kill him. He drops a portal that you go in which you select which reward you actually want.
Wait, you need to go to a different location to enter the portal? That's stupid.
To get out of this portal, then you basically blast through an instance and get your reward that you selected at the end. Here's an example of the rewards that you're going to...
Okay, what do we have here? A rare elixir. Ooh, elixirs! Because fuck elixirs. You gain 15% more experience. Okay, good. So this is effectively saying that they should add baseline 50% more experience in the game, and that's pretty much it. Enemies routinely drop additional gold, equipment, herbs, and herbs. Who cares? Not a single crafting material no longer has any use in Diablo 4 except the obols. That's it. All the other crafting materials might as well not exist at this point.
These are basically stackable with experience potions, so you can get more multiplicative experience gains here as well.
Wow.
And these are basically ramp up drops you get from monsters. So gold, equipment, herbs, and crafting materials. And these two give you gem fragments and runes. And then this...
Boss summoning items or infernal compasses. Okay, gem fragments and runes. So this is going to be obviously the best one unless you want to farm gold and trade.
One, the Opal of Torment, is going to be interesting. Gives you boss summoning items and infernal compasses. Sure, that will be a favorite. There was a funny meme segment of Blizzard when they showcased this is basically what the loop looks like. The dude comes out of the ground, you go in the portal, you kill a bunch of mobs, you get your rewards, you do it over again. They also...
Oh, look at that. Blizzard trying to be relatable. Stop.
Also announced the Undercity, which, as they explain, is an intense multi-floor time attack dungeon. This allows you also to target rewards through things called tributes that you use when you open up this area. And
sounds like something that PoE probably had at some point.
These tributes will allow you to apply modifiers where your legendary armor, for instance, will always possess at least one skill rank affix, or your legendary amulets will always have at least one passive rank. These are examples.
Oh, this is actually decent targeting, yes.
Of the types of things that you...
Okay, good. This is actually at least targeting that makes sense, because nothing else but this would probably make any sense, because again, the only item that you want to target farm are uber uniques. Other than that, there's nothing you want to target farm in this game.
You can use to specifically target what type of loot you're trying to get. They mentioned during the dev update livestream that they're trying to apply agency to the player, basically let the player deterministic be able to select what they actually want to accomplish a little bit more than previously. So it basically looks like this. You have these tributes, you put in these tributes here, and then you can further customize your rewards depending upon what you're looking for.
Oh, look at that. Wait a minute. There's actually going to be a use for all of these useless resources? That's pretty good. At least, now who knows if the reward is actually going to be useful, but admittedly, this is also not enough, nearly not enough. to get rid of all the resources that you have, because none of them are useful. All of them are in the thousands, even if you have played the game for only 5 hours, which is a lot for Diablo, but it's not a lot.
Further customize your rewards depending upon what you're looking for. At that point, you will be inside a time attack mode. Now, as you kill monsters, you're gaining the time bonus, so you can continue to go. You can see there's the timer up there in the top right. There's different tiers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So depending upon how good you're doing, you'll get reward upgrades. As long as you just clear the first tier, you're guaranteed.
Oh yeah, this definitely looks like something that we have played in the last epoch. Not the last epoch, but Path of Exile. There we go. Completely spaced out. Man, I have not played Path of Exile in a long time now, and I still have not finished my Flicker Strike Elemental Witch. Yes, that's gonna be a thing. Is it gonna be successful? Don't know. Never finished it. But maybe. I mean, chance on Ignite with the sword that ignites with a little bit of burn damage couldn't hurt, right? Could not hurt. But yeah, this looks like, the one that you find on the floor, you find randomly in maps, you go through it, and then, boils appear and it's grayish. What's that mechanic called in Path of Exile?
Reward upgrades. As long as you just clear the first tier, you're guaranteed at least to get your reward. Then you will fight this boss at the end, or there will be different bosses.
Wow, look at that. Another boss that has a mechanic where it blasts a wave of damage in a location on the room. Holy shit, Blizzard. Don't spoil us with the 50 at the same boss mechanic that we have already seen 50 times before. Oh no.
Bosses depending upon basically which of these undercities you're doing. And what's cool about these is these actually have unique mechanics. It's new bosses with unique mechanics. So for instance, he's got a red ring around him, so he's only immune to the red damage. So he needs to stay on the red. He stayed in the green there and took damage. Get to the red. He was in the green again, took damage again. So that's sort of how that works. This is the only undercity they showed during the segment, but I'm sure there's more of these. And they showed examples of tributes, so you can get everything from rewards for guaranteed runes all the way up to uniques and an increased chance for mythic uniques, so you can really target what you're looking for. There's also modifiers that only the solo player gets the reward, or there's ones they stated personally that will allow you to do a party as well. So this is not just solo content. They also showed this new kind of troll goblin. They call it the Portal Prankster. The Portal Prankster will go in and out a bunch of different portals.
Yes, because more goblins, obviously. Because goblins are so cool that literally no one.
Basically making it difficult to target him since you're in a time attack, but will give you bonus rewards at the end of the run. Now we get to one of the better parts, what my personal favorite of this update is, which is the in-game raids, the Dark Citadel. It has multiple wings. In fact, here's the image that they show. There's 3 different...
This is actually what I want. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a far cry from Lost Ark, which is the pinnacle of gameplay, but at least it's something, I guess.
Different wings to this.
Currently, not much to be dissatisfied about. The targeted farming seems pretty decent, and again, a raid, wow.
There's the Enclave of Strife, there's the Labyrinth of Souls, and you have your final one, the Dominion of Zagral. Now, they stated very clearly...
What was Zagral? I forgot, but that's like a thing that has lore.
This is sort of the in-game pushing content, but this is also not solo player. You have to do this in a minimum of 2 people. They actually showed footage of why you have one player that goes to like the other side here and is fighting to complete whatever objectives happening there. And then you have another player staying on the other side, and each person kind of has to do their own thing. So this is something where you're going to not need communication, but they say communication may help. More importantly, however, it looks like actual boss fights with actual mechanics outside of just tank and spank and try to avoid damage. There's other things.
This is already so fucking bad. Again, if you have played Lost Ark, you know what I'm gonna say. Any fight that has randomly shit on the ground, and it's not the main mechanic that you need to pay full attention to, is a poorly, completely trash designed boss. And there are no exceptions to this rule. Whenever something spawns on the ground, and you do not need to dedicate your full attention to it, it's a poorly designed shit mechanic. Fire on the ground is literally never a good mechanic. It's just annoying.
You actually have to do, making this more complex than an average boss fight. They even show one portion where you have to like run through a maze here and grab a barrier. Now you're
The maze doesn't seem to be too amazing, not gonna lie.
probably thinking, okay, this is pretty cool. There's raids. Well, with raids come good rewards. Are they going to be locking out anything specific only to this? Maybe you're a solo player who doesn't like the idea of playing in a party. So, in order to have the strongest character possible, am I going to have to play in a party? The answer is no. They show the weekly rewards here, and these are basically just buffs. So, the instances increase all stats for all yourself and nearby players.
20 minutes. How does Blizzard not learn from anything? No one likes a 20-minute buff. No one likes a 30-minute buff. 1 hour is the minimum buff duration. Everyone hated in season of Discovery the stupid buff durations. Everyone hated it in Classic. Everyone hates these 20-minute buff durations.
Players, increased experience, increased healing. Your next core skill heals you, for instance. These are temporary elixir buffs and scrolls. So, like, drop health potions and restore health, or used to restore all temporary charges, for instance, on an item. But you might be looking at that and being like, temper charges. Okay, well, that does influence my gear. Well, the temper charges scroll is actually going to be given to you too throughout seasonal content, and it looks like it's not locked only. They mentioned this on the previous chat. It's not locked only there. So if you see that and you're like, that's actually something useful that can be used for my gear, you don't have to only get that within the Dark Citadel itself. They also showed armor. So there is armor and mount that you can get. This is for defeating the Dark Citadel in Torment Tier 4.
No one cares.
Meaning there is
Also, by the way, I'm already going to put out a prediction for the Torment Tiers. They're going to get nerfed. They're going to get nerfed. Because if the average bozo doesn't get the ability to do maximum torment difficulty, they're gonna cry and they're gonna leave the game. And that's pretty much all she wrote.
Locked behind cosmetics that are only for achieving the highest difficulty of the new in-game content. It's cosmetic armor only, however. So there are bragging rights, for instance. Here's an example of it.
Oh no, if you are vetting this, you have no bragging rights. You look like a clown.
On the Barbarian, there's one on the Necromancer. There are bragging rights, but there is not gear power associated with progression in the Citadel. This is probably a good way to balance this, because if there was power locked behind it, you're going to piss off a lot of the solo players. A lot of people play Diablo by themselves, and that's just how they like to play it. However, you have to have some kind of reward, or else what's the purpose of doing it? So the cosmetics are a good middle ground for that. Now, that's not everything. They also kind of reiterated some of the previous information. They went over mercenaries again and discussed there's mercenary skill.
Oh god, these mercenaries are going to be so fucking cringe.
Trees. There's a bartering system that will help you acquire different legendary aspects or boss summoning materials, and each one of these mercenaries have their own role to fill. They also talked about balance updates. For instance, some classes got buffs, some got some things fixed, or it might end up being a nerf. For instance, the Druid, Nature's Fury, got fixed. It was proccing too many times, apparently. So if you're a Druid like me, it looks like 17 damage is back on the menu, boys. They did, however, do some other changes to items. For instance, the non-ancestral gear. What they did was allow masterworking now go up to 8, and also you can temper them twice. Previously, this was only applicable on ancestrals. They also made it where the unique item drop chance is tripled for ancestral. So now you're not getting as many basically dog uniques. You'll be getting much more greater affix ancestral uniques.
Okay, that's really good, because the uniques without greater affixes start sucking really fast when you get to the end game.
Also, there's some changes in difficulty. The TLDR is basically, it's a little bit harder. So Torment 4, they have a philosophy here where Torment 1...
This philosophy is not gonna last more than a whopping 5 hours before it's nerfed, because people are complaining, oh, I can't get to Torment 4. And by the way, this complaint, I'm just gonna spill it out right now, something you probably don't expect, is gonna be valid. Because the reality of Diablo is it's a completely shit-balanced game. There is literally no balance. Some crap is unusable, some crap is overpowered, and the reality is gonna be you're probably gonna be able to get the Torment 3 if you're a decent player without playing some kind of broken, busted, overpowered build. But the moment you want to get into the max difficulty, you're gonna have to play one of the broken builds. Otherwise, you have no shot at doing it. Meta skills, meta this, meta that. You're gonna have to do it, otherwise you're not gonna be able to do it. Which is kind of fair, but it sucks and it should not exist because Blizzard should learn to balance shit.
Here, where Torment 1 unlocks.
Also, I have a question, okay? Necromancers received a lot of good stuff. I'm kind of happy with it, not gonna lie. But what kind of new, actually spammable skill they got? I have seen the Druid's thing that explodes, rock explosion or whatever it's called. Seems pretty decent. But what the hell did the Necro get that's a new spammable skill? I don't know. I also don't know what Sorcerer's got in all the other classes. But, you know, kind of interested about Necromancer. Should maybe check.
The whole game. Once you're just in Torment, you can do the whole game. There's nothing, I repeat again, there is nothing that is locked behind Torment 2, 3, and 4. That is aspirational content that becomes more difficult, and your reward for
aspirational content doesn't exist. If it exists, people who play the game will want to reach it. They can't reach it. They're gonna cry.
Doing it because it is more difficult is you will acquire more items in terms of quantity. So you're going to get more of them. More often, they'll be higher quality. Basically, you get more drops. And because you're getting more drops and more experience, you'll grind through your Paragon levels better, and you have better.
And this is going to make people cry because this is effectively the rich get richer, even though the rich actually put in effort to get there, or they played a completely busted build. Again, this is a horrible system that's going to piss people off. I have said this a million times, and I'll say it a million times more. Having world difficulties is completely ruining Diablo 4. It ruined Diablo 3 with the torments and whatnot. It's shit. It shouldn't exist. Make the game so you don't have to switch world difficulties. There you go. Problem fixed.
Your opportunity to acquire more materials. But that's it. If you only get to Torment 1, you can still play the whole game. Well, I say that, but then Torment 4, clearing the Dark Citadel, gives you those cosmetics. So keep that in mind. They kind of retooled some of the Paragon board too. They were saying there was too much power behind legendary gear, so they basically nerfed the Paragon board, but in
yeah, it's true. Like your average build. How many, not uniques do you actually use on your character? I think my use on average like maybe 3 non-uniques.
Exchange made it a little bit easier to fill out the Paragon board to apply things like if you have a rune that needs more decks, well, there's going to be more decks around. They tried to make it a little bit easier for you to fulfill the requirements of your glyphs, but also lowered the ceiling a bit on the glyphs because they said the glyphs were just too strong and made your gear feel not as relevant. This is part of the reason what I'm talking about it's going to be just a little bit more difficult. Like your damage is a little bit nerfed. Between that and the time it takes to acquire like the materials, etc., your game time in the game to get to like ultra in-game is going to be significantly longer than you're probably used to. There were some buffs to the Inferno Hordes, basically just better rewards, guaranteed unique from the boss kills now, as well as you no longer have to like spam as many times to get through the chests. Also changes to mythic unique crafting. So now you can literally make a mythic unique. 2 sparks gets you a random one. So just playing through the season journey, killing those, basically just playing the game through Torment 1, you can get yourself a mythic unique. Very guaranteed. It's not going to be too hard to do that. However, if you add in a set of runes with those sparks, now you can specifically choose the mythic unique you want to get. You can also still gamble 1 Resplendent Spark plus the runes to get one. AKA, you're not going to sit.
Okay, no one cares. Either you have all the mythic uniques because you're playing enough, or you don't have any because you're not. It's pointless.
There, just wait for the mythic unique drop. You know.
Anyway, DM, is there anything more? What is this? New calculations.
Performing like the Spirit Wolf, the Meteor.
Oh, no one gives a shit. We're gonna see how good the runes are when the runes are there. Anyway, that was Dark Microtransactions, the Skittleizer, 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.